Are at the public hearing. It is February 18th, 2026, and it's 6:30 p.m. This is the public hearing to consider the adoption of an addendum to the Borough Comprehensive Plan by adopting a Recreation and Parks Master Plan update prepared by Johnson, Mirmoran, and Thompson Incorporated, in association with Tool Recreation Planning, titled Parks for All, the Westchester Borough Park, Recreation, and Open Space Plan.
And this is being adopted as an addendum to the comprehensive plan, because that's the way the Chester County Vision Partnership Program grant required it to be done. So that is how we are going about it. The state law, which is called the Municipalities Planning Code, has a very set procedure in terms of adopting a comprehensive plan. So that's why we're following that procedure. And this is so formal of a quote hearing. So want the record to reflect, and Dana can have in the minutes, that we did advertise tonight's hearing in the Daily Local News on February 3rd and February 10th, 2026. We were also required to send a copy of the proposed plan to adjacent municipalities and to the Westchester Area School District. We had to do that 45 days prior to the hearing. So we did that on October 23rd, 2025. And we did not receive comments back from those municipalities or the school district. The third exhibit was we had to send this to the Chester County Planning Commission. They did a review under the Municipalities Planning Code, as well as did a review under your VPP grant requirements, and issued a letter of December 3rd, 2025. Mostly made stylistic comments and changes, and we actually had your planning commission consider those comments and felt that it did not warrant having the planners go back and make any more changes. And then the fourth was just your planning commission did have to make a recommendation concerning this plan, and they did so at their January 12th, 2026 meeting. So again, the Municipalities Planning Code requires that when you adopt a comprehensive plan, which again, this is just an addendum to the comprehensive plan, it has to be done through a resolution. So the resolution that I prepared just outlines the steps that we've followed for you to be in compliance with the state law in going about and adopting this. I think you had some conversation last night about the substance of the plan. I wasn't involved in that process. That was really your planning and Keith. But as far as the procedural requirements, I can tell you that you've met those requirements, and the resolution would be right for somebody to move forward.
Any questions from Dave? Any comments from those in attendance? Would anyone like to propose a motion to approve the resolution?
Sure.
I'll propose.
So moved. I will second the motion.
All right, Sean, let's call the question. Public comment.
Mr. Stepaniak,
Approve.
Ms. Kearns, Mr. Marvin, Mr. McGinnis,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Mr. Flynn,
Yes.
and Ms. Shimoni.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Now, I will call the meeting to order. It is 6:33, February 18th, 2026, and this is the Borough Council meeting voting session. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Kearns, why don't you lead us today?
I pledge allegiance to the United States to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible.
All right, announcements. I'm going to announce vacancies. There are vacancies on the Westchester Community Campus Committee. A business owner in the borough and a property owner holding a student housing permit. If you or someone you know is one of these individuals, we would love it for you to come out and be part of the committee. We've got good conversations and I'm working on a lot this year. So, any other announcements? All right, seeing none. Comments, suggestions, petitions by residents, taxpayers, and visitors in attendance regarding items not on the agenda. All right, also seeing none, we're going to keep rolling along. Comments by Borough Council and the mayor. All right, why don't we start from the left? Again, Lisa, why don't you? Oh, wait, you're a newbie. You're a newbie. All right. Well, Brian, you go first.
Thank you very much, friends, colleagues, and fellow citizens. Debate is the cornerstone of a healthy democracy. Disagreement is not failure or self-government. It's proof that it's alive. But there is a line. Debate strengthens us and it sharpens ideas. It weakens us when it diminishes people, when discussion shifts from policy to personal attacks, when labels replace logic and rhetoric inflames rather than informs. The public square stops being a place of progress and becomes a place of division. This chamber is not a battleground of grievances. It's a place for stewardship. The tone set here carries responsibility and it echoes far beyond these walls. We can disagree passionately without demeaning one another. We can challenge ideas without questioning character. We can confront injustice without creating new divisions. Civility is not weakness. Decorum is not silence. Respect is not surrender. These are guardrails that keep democracy from unraveling. Our residents expect leaders who can model disagreement without disrespect and conviction without contempt. The question before us is not only what policies we pass, but what examples we set. I will always defend vigorous debate and the right to dissent, but I will also stand for the basic decency and decorum that make democratic debate passionate, because that's how we govern, just as how much we decide. Thank you.
All right, Lisa, now it's your turn.
I thought this was much lighter, this part. So I just want to thank the nonprofits that opened up their doors to me over the past month and some other members of council. We were able to go to things like the opening of the new Friends Association homeless shelter and office building, which is, it makes 10 more families. It'll accommodate 10 more homeless families in Chester County. And then we went to a ribbon cutting ceremony at the Westchester Food Cupboard for a new generator. And I do a lot of things to do a lot of good work at the Westchester Senior Center and also community volunteers in medicine. My point is, we have such great nonprofits in this town that we rely on as part of government. Government can only do so much. And to have these amazing nonprofits right here in our community is of such value. So I encourage my fellow council members, as well as members of the public, to get to know our local nonprofits. And I hope to get to know a lot more of them over the course of the next month and years.
Stephen?
Basically, my objective is to serve the community. My focus will be on residents and business, but if there's a conflict between the residents or a business with what I want to do, the community will rule. I would like to emphasize I have a great focus on culture and the arts, so I encourage you to participate in those endeavors, share your interests, share your talents, participate. If you want to do exhibits, there are multiple art galleries in town that welcome individual exhibits as well and individual items that you create. So I hope to only participate in this manner. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll head on over to the right side, Brian.
Surprised. I thought we were going down the lane here.
Bring it in and we'll end with the mayor. That's the plan. Jerry, you're next.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking, this is the third year of my first term. So this is the back half of the first term. And I was just kind of thinking about the first 2 years and kind of reflecting on some of the things that we got done in just 23 months. And how I helped either lead or led with resident input through the democratic process. A few items here I just wanted to mention. So short-term rental ordinance and all the factors and all of the different variables that went into that and all the thinking and the research and debate that we had. And we finally reached, I think, a pretty solid agreement, and we're in compliance, as we noted in the executive session. So I thought that was a fantastic accomplishment that we discussed before I was even on board. So better agenda setting and meeting management. I think our meetings actually run a lot more smoothly than we first started out with, adhering more towards Robert's rules and separating new business items from old agenda items that we continue to work through. More accurate fee schedule for special events. That was something that we definitely needed to do. There were some things in there that did not make sense in terms of what we were charging. Improvements to the rental point system. And putting urgency around rental inspections, which were falling behind post-COVID. So, and then a couple more here, just policies, definitions, and support for non-borough-lit special events, and revisions to Chapter 62, which was almost a practical overhaul of that old ordinance or that section of our code, which still needs a little retouching, but we made it a lot of improvements there. So I'm just grateful for and I'm proud of the accomplishments, but I'm grateful to be able to serve Westchester residents in my Ward 2, and I'm looking forward to many more accomplishments that are coming with this council over the next 2 years.
Thank you. So this is now my first full cycle as a council member, and the president challenged all of us, not just the new people, but all of us, with creating goals for 2026 for each of the councils in which we serve. And I thought it was a bit of a hill to climb for someone who still doesn't understand what all departments are, don't know all the department heads, don't know what every group necessarily is responsible for. But I accept the challenge, and I think my point is that we all accepted the challenge. And now having how we worked through that process, I look back, and last night we went through the entirety of the goals that all of the committees have set up for this year. And I look at them and I think of them as some things that are going to show real value to all the stakeholders, constituents, and all the members and residents of the borough. And I know I'm very happy with, they're not necessarily all completely defined. We don't necessarily have specific timelines that we know are achievable just yet. We're still working through some of those details. But when I look at that list, I think there are going to be some real improvements that people are going to see and be able to benefit from. And I think it's going to help to drive engagements, which is Lisa's prime one, to understand that the borough council and the borough staff and administration is really here for you, the constituents. And we're going to show you some benefits, the things that we will be able to do for you.
I know, that's a nice shot.
Not me. I always focus on the business district. Greetings from the 6th Ward, the sweetest ward in the borough. Some things happening in the borough. Starting on Sunday, Restaurant Week starts. It runs the 22nd to March 1st. So make sure you eat downtown and support our local businesses. The Stove and Tap, believe it or not, has been here for 5 years. It's amazing how fast time flies when you are having fun and you're drinking across the street from the convent. It's amazing how many fun people I see there. Kyle Hudson's not here. He's normally filming, but he always wants to know when we're going to be blocking streets. And starting, I think it's next week, we're going to start cutting and onto one lane and installing ballards on Gay Street. The Public Works crew and everybody's going to be putting ballards on Gay Street. So there's going to be a little disruption during that time. On a happier note, I'm on my 40-day, not fast because I'd be too skinny and too old, but everything that I would spend money on, liquor, candy, ice cream, I'm putting in a jar, and I'm actually going to try to do something right, first time in 73 years, and donate it to a local charity. So hopefully I start to lose some weight in front of you. Thank you.
I'd like to share a couple of things that are coming up in the borough. There will be a virtual lecture about the life and art of Horace Pippin. As many of you know, Horace Pippin was a renowned artist in Westchester. He was born in Westchester and raised in Westchester and returned to Westchester. So I'd like you to know that it is February the 24th. It's 7 to 8 p.m. It's virtual. It's put on by the Chester County History Center, and you can pay as you wish. So your donation is greatly appreciated. When you get online, you can pay them whatever you wish to pay them. And if you don't know who Horace Pippin is, get to learn about him because he is renowned throughout the country, and he was a native son to Westchester. And one other event coming up, and that's March 5th. Well, there's lots of events, but these are before our next meeting. An ACT, used to be called ACT Now, but it's called ACT Now. It used to be called ACT in Faith. They're doing the Chef's Best 2026. So it's a return to the event's roots, featuring 4 local restaurants and caterer chefs in the month of March. It's March 5th. It's called Chef's Best, and it's a friendly culinary competition, and it will be held at the Chester County History Center at 6 p.m. on March 5th. So we have 2 great events coming up. You don't have to be in the winter doldrums. You get to stay home and learn and be educated about Horace Pippin and go out and eat. And nothing's better than going out to eat, in my book. Thank you. Enjoy.
All right, I'll just close it out with, don't we have a great crew up here? I mean, I think everybody brings some positive vibes and ideas and love of the borough to the table with slightly different perspectives all along the way. And I think that is going to create for a lot of good work this year, a lot of healthy debate, hopefully always healthy, but debate, and a lot of accomplishments this year. And I'm really excited as we get started and as we all work together. And Jerry, I agree with you. I think we're going to accomplish a lot, not just the goals that we've put on paper, but even more. And so let's get to it. And with that, we'll go to reports and presentations. The 2025 year-end report for the Civil Service Commission. Rich Eagles, Chair of the Civil Service Commission.
Thank you, Madam President, council members, and mayor. My name is Rich Eagles. I'm the chair of the Civil Service Commission, and I'm here to present our 2025 annual report, which you have submitted to you prior. I'll just give you a few highlights to cover our 2025 activities per our bylaws and rules. In terms of the Civil Service Commission itself, I was appointed by this council in February of last year. I was elected secretary in February, which meant that I had to put this report together for you. I hope you like it. We also had a resignation of one of our alternates, Chris Day, and we had an appointment of a new alternate, Jerry Scanlon. So we are still short one alternate for the Civil Service Commission, which we will be looking forward to trying to fill this year. With respect to officers, we had 2 officer openings this year. We conducted a process. Westchester is a valuable place for police officers or for people to become police officers. We had a very healthy candidate pool, sufficient to run 2 separate physical and written tests to produce an initial list. Through a series of processes in order to evaluate them, we did select 2 officers. And later in the year, we were able to witness their swearing in. They were Gavin Stolarzi and Christopher DeBaptiste, new officers to our force. Finally, there was one other event that was pretty considerable for us last year, and that was the opportunity to present a citation of honor to Reese Davis, who served on the Civil Service Commission for 26 years. And we thank him very much for his service and wanted to highlight him in our report. At our final meeting of 2025, we did review the upcoming retirements for police officers, which created opportunities for promotion, which you have on your agenda later today. And we also, because of those promotions, will have opportunities for new officers. So going into 2026, those promotions are the first thing that were on the agenda, and obviously we're in the hiring process for the new officers. Respectfully, I'd like to submit our report for 2025. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions from those in attendance? Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
All right, seeing no new business, we'll move to old business. Items moved to discussion from last night. Motion to change Westchester Borough domain from .com to .gov. I know that Stephen presented his passionate thoughts on the importance of moving to .gov for safety and other security purposes. I know Bill also brought his perspective to the table, and he's concerned right now that we're already so interconnected with a variety of other websites and technology that the switch from .gov to .com would be more effort than the payback on that. There's a variety of opinions on the dais. If there's any new feedback or opinions that you guys want to share tonight, feel free.
I think we did move in the right direction, Stephen. We also own a lot of the .coms, .orgs, other things. And what Bill was able to do with Stephen's suggestion was to actually activate the .org as well. So if someone types in westchester.org, they will also get directed to the site. And most of the 73 municipalities in this county do use a .org. So there was progress made, Stephen. So I think it's kind of a win-win for everybody.
Any other comments here? Any comments from those in attendance?
Definitely want to express appreciation, but I want to give Bill Mann the credit for coming up with the idea of taking a neutral position of .org. So I could sing a song. Do you want to hear a song?
So I think we need to actually officially vote on this, right?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion not to move forward to make any changes to our domain name .com.
I will second that.
Sean, can you call to question?
I always struggle with logically is approving the negative, right? So everyone understands the motion that you're voting on, correct?
Keep it the same.
We're voting not to change to .gov.
So
What made
that-
that easier?
if you vote yes, you are voting to not change. If you vote no, that's the double negative. You're voting to change. Got it?
Can I ask for,
That was the motion that was made.
could I ask for clarification that we are going to use .org? I just want it to be not confused that all of a sudden .org is appearing.
I can speak to that. We continue to use .com. What we were able to do with .org, because we own that domain, is if anyone goes to .org, they will land on our page and not even know that it happened. To migrate everything to .org would create the same problems technically that the .gov would be. But so if anyone goes to .org, they will land at our page and not even know the difference.
I just want the public to be clear that if they do use .org, that is appropriate. It is welcome. I'm not sure if you're going to post that on other services or.
It probably isn't necessary, but we could say we're available at either domain. Sure.
I do have a point of order. If there is no motion made at all, motion to change Westchester Borough domain from .com to .gov, then it's a moot point, right? Is that correct?
Anyone can make a motion, but if there's no second, you are correct. There's the,
Right, so technically, I mean,
Second.
yeah, but
So the
technically,
motion's on the floor.
We can just vote on it.
yeah,
Just
but
vote.
what I'm saying is because it's a double negative, you know what I'm saying?
I think we all understood it when it was made, so
Yeah.
why don't we
Explain
just?
it one more time, Sean.
Right.
motion on the table is to not migrate from .com to
We agree with not going, we say yes.
That's correct.
Gotcha.
All right, we all ready? All right, let's do it.
All right. Mr. Sapaniak,
Vote yes to reject.
Ms. Kearns,
Yes.
Mr. Marvin, sorry, I'm still working on the names. My bad. Mr. Marvin,
I will vote no on this.
Mr. McGinnis,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Mr. Flynn,
Yes.
and Ms. Shimoni.
Yes. Okay, motion to award bid for the traffic signal maintenance to Kucharchik Construction. The bid opened on February 6th. So this was the $335,000 bid that there was a little confusion in the agenda last night. So that was said to table it, and then you were going to come back. Here's Don with some explanation.
When the original bids went out, hold on, I wrote it down somewhere. Kuhark Construction won the initial bid against Signal Service. The problem was Signal Service. Hold on, let me back up because there were two bids. The first bid, Signal Service, was I'm lost here a little bit. Hold on. Kuhark won the bid the first time, but they were so much higher because Signal Service never actually put a bid in. So we were able to rebid the first time. So the second time, Kuhark put their bid in, they were the higher bidder, yet Signal Service, who bid this time, didn't complete their whole bid process. Some of the items are empty. So out of good faith, actually, Kuhark has to be the new traffic signal company. If I confuse you, I can explain it again.
They won twice, but there were
Yes.
two like technicalities. So this is the second technicality. And
Yes.
You're saying we should go with it.
And
Yes.
Mr. Anderson, also the other option I think before council here is to reject all bids. Do you have an operational crisis if we don't have a signal maintenance operator?
I don't necessarily agree with rejecting all bids because Kuhark, or however you pronounce that name, they actually won the bid twice. And it would almost seem like we're just trying to get who we want there. And that just doesn't sit right with me. So I would say accept the bid. It's not that expensive compared to what Signal Service has already been doing. So I'd say accept the bid.
Mr. Anderson, what was the first bid amount
I don't have it here in front of
and
me.
then their second bid amount?
For the first bids,
Yeah.
it was, I don't have the exact numbers here. I can get them for you. But it was over the amount that, the amount that it was over that we could actually send it out for rebid. We contacted Christian Kemp. She looked at it. She said, that amount's too high. We can rebid it again. So that's how we ended up going to the whole rebid process.
Did the second bid come in significantly lower than the first bid from?
Yes.
Kuhark?
Yes,
Okay.
it came in lower than the original bid.
Now, what was going on? Because last night we were confused, we bid it, canceled it, we rebid it, and then Signal Services only filled out half the bid this time.
Correct.
That's why their number was so different, okay? They missed 5 items, and I agree with you, the $860 is, for unit pricing is probably what would go for through Public Works.
Correct. Is that it?
Any questions from the public? Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you. All right, so does anyone want to move this motion?
So moved.
All right, so
Marvin, you second? Mr. Sapaniak,
Yes.
Ms. Kearns, Mr. Marvin,
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Mr. Flynn,
Yes.
and Ms. Shimoni.
Yes. All right, item C. Motion to direct solicitor to draft an ordinance to require Borough Council approval on any 287G cooperation agreement prior to participation by the Westchester Police Department and Immigration Enforcement. I'm going to try to summarize this one too, like I did with the .gov. We had a lot of good debate last night. We started out with the mayor concerned. Her biggest concern at this point is that there is potentially Borough Council overstep on police and mayor responsibilities. I know we have talked, and council has talked to the solicitor, and what the solicitor has counseled council with is that this is not an overstep in an overstep request. And so that is part of the feedback that council provided. After that, there was conversation from Mr. Flynn, and he sees this ordinance as kind of suspenders, if you will. It's not going to hurt. It could help. It also lets people know how we feel, and it could be helpful to the community. My perspective is that they're broken suspenders. We actually have items in the home rule charter that actually already kind of say that if we need to, that we need to approve an ordinance or anything, a contract that an entity wants to go into as the borough. So we already kind of have processes in place there. So my perspective is it's not really doing a whole lot more for us than what we already have done. I'd rather see other things be done for the community members that we're trying to help. Mr. McGinnis said, no, there's actually a lot of stuff that this ordinance does, and he read us off a lot of things that he felt were benefits from creating this ordinance, and you can also find those written on Facebook and a variety of other locations. He's expressed those to the community. Mrs. Kearns, Miss Kearns, sorry, I married you. Yes, well, Happy New Year. Ms. Kearns also agreed that this ordinance could bring benefits to the community. She's talked to some community members, executive directors of organizations that support the population that we're trying to help, that have given her feedback that say that this could be beneficial. We also had public comment. There was a woman that came to us that she didn't necessarily comment on the ordinance specifically, but she did comment on she really wants to make sure that we don't go into a 287G agreement. We also had another individual, he's here again tonight, who also supports the ordinance and would like for us to go into this 287 or this ordinance to make sure that if the police wanted to go into a 287G, that council would have to approve it. We also had Jill from some nonprofits from the community. She's actually opposed to us going into this ordinance for similar reasons to the mayor. She doesn't think it's the right thing to do to help the community and believes that it's council overreach to try to provide this type of oversight to the police department, especially because they had no plans on going into any of these agreements at this point in time. Finally, we ended with Chief Lee, who came to the podium and also reiterated that he has no plans, he has not even thought about it to go into any kind of support with immigration services, no 287G aspirations or anything like that. He does not want to go into that. And he and his team support the community with a variety of other ways, and they continue to support the community. And they want to do that, but please, they want you to all know that they had no desire to ever go into one of these agreements. That's the summary. Does anyone have anything new to say? New, is it new, or is it what you said last night?
I can give a summary, but I mean, I did.
We've seen you 3 times, and I'd like to see you. I'm enjoying it.
Thanks,
But,
Bernie.
you're just supposed to tell us your name and your address, and you
Okay.
always say your last name so fast I can't write it down because I write down everyone.
Okay, my last name is Malott. Yeah,
You're in my ward too. You should get on my newsletter.
okay. 956 South Matlack.
Very much.
Yeah, no.
I write down everyone's name and what their address is.
Yeah.
Is that in the borough? Which side of Rosedale is that one on? Is that in Westwood? That's not in the borough, but yeah.
It's okay.
Well, you know, yeah, I know. You're just not in my ward.
I've been
so
a
never mind
professor
about
at
my-
Westchester University since 2011, and I literally live in walking distance from work.
All right, let's get to, do you have anything new to say?
I mean, you gave a nice summary and I appreciate it. One of the things that I said last night that I felt like was really important that I keep hearing over and over again, I've heard new reports today that the Westchester Borough Police is already working with ICE. You didn't mention that. And I think that was one of the really important pieces that people keep telling me, they don't feel safe. They don't feel protected.
All right.
They want to make sure that is known
Thank you.
and whatever is
Okay.
decided upon. should
Thank
be in
you.
the best interest. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
The fact
I mean,
sir,
I am
sir,
the public too.
Thank you. Yes, but you said that last night and Josh Lee came up and he did say that that is not the case. And so unless you come to us with proof.
Say whatever he wants, but people have experiences in the community and they keep telling me this. So whatever. I mean,
All right, well, thank you.
your opinion,
Thank
he
you.
he can say whatever he wants, but you're saying now the community is lying, that they're scared.
I'm
enough.
not saying the community is lying. I'm saying that you said this last night. Sir, would you like to come up? I know you weren't here last night.
Sir, good to see you.
It's always great to see you.
It's been a minute. Yeah, I didn't want to get into the physical description of how I'm now graying and, I am gray and need glasses to speak. Thank you. My sole purpose here is just to maybe help you frame this issue before you vote on it. And hopefully I won't be too lengthy.
I'm sorry, could you, and say your name again?
Sure. Last name is Bohn, Bohn. My first name is Scott. I'm a resident of East Bradford Township. Sorry. But I was employed here at the municipality for many years, and I was the police chief for over 20 years. So my current capacity, I'm not speaking in my official capacity, is I'm the executive director of the Pennsylvania Chiefs of Police Association. So this has become an issue that I'm dealing with on a regular basis, almost daily basis now. And, you're in a unique position as I hear this argument in that you both agree. In many places, this is actually the opposite of what occurs, and it's quite contentious. But it seems philosophically that you have an agreement. It's also my understanding in speaking with the chief and certainly the district attorney, and I speak to district attorneys all across the state and certainly in the surrounding counties, that they've also issued policy statements or statements where they've adjoined and they've communicated with their police chiefs. So they both felt very comfortable and they had a unified position on how to present this in public transparency and to the public, because public trust is absolutely critical to what they do and will always be. As I told the mayor in one of my conversations with her, I firmly believe you have the legislative authority to make this type of decision. I mean, it's vested with you. That's within your authority. The structure of the borough government and code is that you do have that legislative and financial responsibility, and the police department and the mayor or the mayor for the police department has the operational and the overview of the police department. As I've gone through this, and I've gone through this in many other areas, it kind of really gets down to, it's not almost, and please, I frame this in the right way so don't anybody offended, it is a political issue. You're elected officials, you have a responsibility to elected people, and the police department has a responsibility to the same group of people. You both have a level of accountability here. I think the concern, it was my concern in my former life, is when we talk about overreach, we talk about future councils. I don't know what anybody's individual intent here behind the legislation. I'm sorry I missed the meeting last night. I'm sure it was entertaining. But at the end of the day, at least I believe, that you have the same intent. So my recommendation to counties, DAs, to police chiefs, and there's over 1,000 municipal police agencies. And I believe there's 2 municipalities that have these types of agreements. And albeit you also have the authority, is this mayor and this police chief can't enter into that agreement without your consent. And if somebody went rogue, which I doubt that they would.
I
Or
didn't
approval.
hear what you said. The mayor and the police chief cannot.
No,
enter
if
into-
they did, if they were to go off and sign some type of agreement, I don't think that that would be legal in my
No, it wouldn't.
personal opinion.
You're correct.
It requires your consent.
Yeah.
If it did in fact happen, you have a great deal of leverage financially and with the police budget and other things to correct that. So it gets back, and I happen to agree with you, Madam President, about the necessity of legislating something like this. You have a district attorney, you have a police chief, and you have a mayor, and you're all on the same page. You don't want to, you don't agree with, and you're not going to enter into an agreement. And I've spoken to all those, and I trust all these people. And I think that's part of this issue. We have to trust these people. The bigger issue is on down the line, outside of this group of people, should decisions be made in the future. You know, I was fond of saying in advance, I can make any issue we're talking about tonight a public safety issue. Whether you're talking about sidewalks or whatever we're talking, you can make it a public safety issue. That's why that separation of power exists within the municipal government. There are those checks and balances. I think the greater solution to this problem, just my personal opinion, is a resolution by this council, a joint resolution by all of you supporting this. It's a public statement, it's public transparency, and you abide by that. And there are checks and balances within that system if something should go awry. You know, it has created so many issues because it really gets down to what has now become a balance of power. And this is at a state level with counties and counties with municipalities and municipalities internally. I don't think that should happen here. And certainly I can understand the optic moving forward. So it would be my recommendation, just my personal recommendation, that you join together. And I think it's a good optic for the borough. And I'm very fond of the borough. I spent a great deal of time here. To issue a joint resolution. It has the same impact and effect. And you're absolutely right. You can pass a piece of legislation, but it'll be up to the police department and the mayor to implement, execute, and supervise that implementation. And you have no control over that. That authority rests with her. So to your point, you're correct. I think we're all in agreement here. I don't think it's a good idea to enter into these. And I'm not going to spend 4 hours talking about the legality of all these issues or Third Circuit opinions, but I think the decision you're making is a correct one in terms of making a public statement. And I think that should be a unified statement. And I'm
Thank you.
happy to answer any of your questions.
Chief.
Yes, sir.
It's always so good to see.
I'm so used to talking. When I see you, I think budget, but go ahead.
Isn't it amazing that Mr. Jingles?
A flashback.
I know. I was pretty tough on the budget. At one point, when I first got here, I saw we spent $29,000 on bullets. And I went to the chief and I said, how many people have you shot? He said, none. I said, well, I didn't know. I was brand new, like Jerry. Because I'm looking at the budget. He says, we do a lot of practice. I went, now I understand. So my interpretation, which is mine, is there's 3 levels of things that we could do. The first one is an ordinance. The ordinance is legally binding local law passed by municipality government, by city council. It regulates public conduct and property. A resolution is an agreement that we're all in the same, this is legal and binding, an ordinance. A resolution is we agree on principle to respect this document or concept. And then the policy is policies or guidelines or administrative rules, not laws, that help interpret and apply the laws.
And I guess my response to that be, is there an issue of trust? 2, and I think any type of a public statement or declaration on behalf of the chief, the mayor, and the combined council is binding. It's certainly binding in the public.
Thank you. That's my position on it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief Bond. It's good
Thank
to see you as well. And to Councilman Flynn's point, there is a distinct difference between an ordinance and a resolution. One has teeth and one doesn't. One's a statement and one's a municipal law.
Completely understand.
And I did, review this with the district attorney. And I could paraphrase what he said, and he said no one should have that unilateral authority. It's not an issue with trust. Reagan said it best, trust but verify, right? But the issue here is what future mayor, the future council, and the future police chief may do. And the reason why this came up is what happened in Bucks County. I don't know if you're familiar with
Oh,
that.
I am.
Correct, right? And the issue there with Bucks County is he went into a backdoor policy.
The sheriff, not the
sheriff
police
did.
department.
Right. And my good friend Danny Seisler was just elected. Good friend of mine. I ran it by Danny. He's a lawyer, solid guy. And he even said, had an ordinance been in place in Bucks County, that previous sheriff would not have been able to do that. The courts ruled, in fact, in favor of the sheriff because there was no previous municipal or county law. And as you know, there's about 63 municipalities and or
Sheriff's
counties, constables, sheriff's departments that entered into this agreement without any municipal input. And so what I'm saying is this, is that if we do enter into it or don't enter into it, it should come before council. And the reason being it should come before council is because, here is that it does involve borough resources, police time, training hours, equipment and technology.
Which you control.
Right, which we control, public
Correct.
funding. And so that's why, as far as an issue on a statement and resolution, I'm fine with that with the ordinance as well, similar to what we did with the responsible contracting ordinance that we passed a couple years ago. So that can coincide together. It's the fact is moving forward, it should be a public input and a council decision for those reasons that I've listed.
And I believe you have it.
Right.
You wouldn't be talking about this issue unless you had public input, and that's why you have public meetings, and you had a public meeting, I assume, last night. And I'm familiar, and certainly, you know, the DA, and I know the DA, as well as the others around this county, you know, had these conversations with local, and they're not going to tell municipalities how to act. They're going to engage with them and issue a public policy. The overwhelming majority of, and I don't know how many there are, I'd have to look again, but agreements have been entered are vastly constables, sheriff's departments, good many of them on the western or more rural parts of the state, and prisons for processing and detaining. Very few municipalities have these agreements. And at least my understanding of municipal law, I don't think this is a decision that they're going to be able to unilaterally make. And certainly now that you've issued a public statement, I'm not telling you what to do. You certainly make the decision as an elected body that you choose to make, you know, but you can understand the optic with the necessity when you've combined these statements and you've already made the public statement that this is the direction that we're going. You have the word of the police chief. I assume we trust him. I do. I certainly trust the mayor to make those decisions. The mayor sits here and you have oversight into those things. So, you know, again, it's a question of necessity, quite frankly, and an issue of trust, unless you believe that an alternate decision would be made without council's approval.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you and I and all but Farley here have a finite amount of time.
Sure.
The other item I want to bring to you, and you probably know what happened in Quarryville with their police department. They entered into it and then now they backed out of it. Right. That happened in Lancaster County.
Happened in Bucks County.
Right. In Bucks. So those are the things that we're looking to say, hey, this isn't, you know, when I look at it, and there's no inflammatory language within, I don't know if you've read the ordinance or not.
I have.
There's no inflammatory language in the ordinance. It basically states if this, no matter what, it would still go through a council vote for transparency purposes. Just as Chief Lee came to us yesterday and asked us to make a budget update regarding the purchase of guns, right? That still comes through council.
It should.
Right. And so this to me is when I look at it as like a check. And I think it is a necessity because you and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. That's why these ordinances are created. And at any time, if we want to change the ordinance, we would still go through a public process in which public input.
And you understand the optic looking at this, and I'm just playing devil's advocate from the other side, then the law enforcement entity and or the mayor would have to trust that future councils do the exact same thing. And she has no guarantee, or nobody has a guarantee on that. Correct? I mean, they can make any decision they want. And that's why you're here. And that's what you do on a regular basis. And you have these discussions. Again, I'm not telling you what you should do. The issue is there a necessity? Is there an identified problem within the community that you're trying to correct? And is there a necessity to legislate something? Because certainly it lends that optic, if not now, to future overstepping. I'm using that term loosely, or overstepping or encroaching on, the balance that we have as a municipal government here in Westchester. That's the issue at hand. So that's why I always argue a lot of times these issues kind of slide away from the whole issue of immigration. Right? We're talking about, internal process and authority, and I think that's why I offered that resolution, because it should be public trust. And I think that, people should be working together. And it's always been my suggestion, certainly to county police chief organizations when they're dealing with their elected officials or DAs.
Thank you.
I had a question. My question is this, perhaps this won't be an issue in, say, 3 years.
Let's hope not.
God. Oh, but my concern also is this seems to be a long-term solution to a short-term problem, which at this point is not a problem, not in Chester County with any chiefs of police, with any mayors in Chester County, because they've all come together to say the same thing, and this just seems to be a long-term solution to a short-term problem. And hopefully in 3 to 4 years, if we do have elections again, because that's up for grabs now too, then perhaps the ruling body will change and the whole issue will go away, because there will be hopefully a new president. And I just wonder about that as well.
Well, as communities evolve, legislative bodies evolve, things change, circumstances changed, and that's why it's always very difficult. And that's why I think enacting in a unified in the present on an issue that's perceived or real in the community is really, really important. And what message does that send to the public? And that's what we're here for. That's what the police department's here for.
And I agree, but the counter argument to that is what happens if things don't change? And that's the whole point in passing municipal law or legislation, for that matter, within the state house, the state senate. I mean, you're familiar with what Pielli and Christine Howard are passing and what's in the state senate, but that goes to legislation, federal legislation. To the counter argument to that is, well, we don't need it now, but what happens, right? I mean, so what's the point then of having governing councils if they can't?
You're not advocating your right to do that at any point in time. And you still have the ability to make those decisions now, even if it's by a joint resolution. I don't think that necessarily, it's almost a duplicate. You're not gaining anything by that. And certainly a future council has their right to whatever they decide or whatever the issue is, just as a new mayor and a new police chief together can make some decisions and bring it to the council, which you again have the legislative authority to say, no, you're not doing that. And it has to be all publicly transparent.
And I think to your point, we can do both. We can issue a resolution and an ordinance, one that is a statement of support, and then one that is a statement of municipal law. And I think ultimately that's the goal. I think the residents should have a right to know if or when this decision may or may not happen in the future, God willing. And God willing, it doesn't.
But I think they do know. I mean, I'm not arguing your point, but I think they do know. So I think basically they're the one in the same. I realize they're certainly different, but I think it's one and the same. And again, you don't abdicate your right to do that as things move forward. So it's really a question of necessity.
All right, any other comments or questions from those sitting up here? I think a lot of good things to think about.
Yeah, no,
different
thank you. And
Perspective that, of something that we could do slightly differently.
it's been a while, but thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate your time.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Always good to see you, Chief.
Good to see you, sir.
Any comments from residents, or sorry, he's a resident as well. Come on up.
Good evening, council members, Madam Mayor, everybody. My name is David Keim. This is the first time I've ever spoken at a council meeting. My family and I, we live on Matlack in Spruce Alley. I'm a father, a husband, an active member of the community. I think you met my crazy dogs before. That's how we met. So first I want to take a moment to acknowledge, yes, the fact that most everyone here, we share moral ground, common ground on this issue. We believe all families in Westchester deserve dignity, deserve safety. We believe children should be able to go to school without fear. Warrants and rights are respected, etc. The question is, how do we ensure that since we can't stop federal ICE agents from coming into town? That's going to happen. Not even Philly, New York can do that. I believe we have to observe what other cities are doing. And a part of that is setting up guardrails. So I am in favor of an ordinance. It can be a combination of resolution and ordinance. But honestly, I think it's the bare minimum. When you look at Philadelphia and what other places are doing, this is unprecedented. They're doing a lot more in terms of preventing illegal kidnapping on our streets. And I think it allows transparency, because not having an ordinance clearly isn't a strategy. You're seeing that in Kennett Square. Things are happening and they're scary. It's also, in a big way, it sends a message to the community, especially the vulnerable community, that the police have their back, some kind of movement forward. And I'll end with a brief story. So when I'm at the bus stop with my 7-year-old son, it's a diverse bus stop right next to the apartment complex. And the last thing that I want is, that any of us want, is an unmarked vehicle with masked agents coming out, pulling up at the bus stop, traumatizing kids like they just did a couple days ago in New Jersey, kids running around. And we just want to know that the police have our back, that they're not going to coordinate. So it's about transparency. There has to be more done, but honestly, it's the bare minimum. We should be moving ahead. What can we do to stop illegal kidnappings? So I just want more done for our streets. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Could you spell your last name?
Keim, K-E-I-M as in money.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from? Okay.
Thank you for coming up and speaking. I can tell you we're passionate and nervous. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Wendy Keslick, Keslick, and I'm right here on Penn Street, right 400 feet from here. And I just want to come, I don't have anything prepared. I'm not a good public speaker at all, but I do want to support the ordinance. I hope that it does get passed. It does send a message to those who are most vulnerable. It gives another layer of protection. And for me, to tell me something is left up to trust in police, trusting a police department, that doesn't sit well with me. I don't have that overwhelming trust of authority that some of you seem to have. So another layer of protection, at least one thing like David said, was it sends a clear message of where we're standing, where the police department does stand. And then hopefully that is the feeling. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my mistrust is misguided, but I don't have this overbearing not respect, but like, I don't automatically trust the mayor. I don't automatically trust the police. You're asking, that's an assumption that you have, but a lot of people don't have that, especially the most vulnerable people. There are people who are afraid to call the police, afraid to call an ambulance because of what could happen to them. And they're living in fear, and it's not acceptable in any community. Thank you. And I agree. Actually, I do want to say, Curry might not be in the borough, but I am. So you can also put his comments under me as far as what he's hearing about the police being involved.
Okay, thank you. And about Mr. Nella. Yeah, and Mr. Nella, I'm sorry. I'm new at this. I didn't mean to get too, I was just trying to control the timing of everything, so I apologize. I'll get better. Okay, you made me a little nervous and okay, we're good. Okay, all right. Okay, and any other comments from anyone out? Okay, so I think we're at a space where
Madam Chair,
wants to make
I'd like to make a motion. We approve the ordinance as presented and it's listed on the screen.
Just make sure you guys understand, we're not approving the ordinance. We're approving you to move it forward to a hearing process.
So what are we
Every
doing?
ordinance has to be advertised at least 7 days prior.
I'll read exactly what it says. Motion to direct the solicitor to draft an ordinance to require Borough Council approval on any 287G cooperation agreement prior to participating by the Westchester Police Department in immigration enforcement.
Second.
May I suggest that the motion also include a date of the hearing, being the next business meeting,
6:30.
March 18th, 6:30?
Good idea.
Fine.
That's the day after St. Patrick's Day.
Make it.
He may have a couple bumps on his head.
No, we have a meeting on St. Patrick's Day, which I'm a little upset about, but anyway, that's
A
fine.
whole day.
That's fine.
Agenda day.
So we have a motion and a second, Madam Chair.
All right, so Sean?
Mr. Stepaniak,
Approve.
Ms. Kearns? Mr. Marvin?
I'm in the middle, and I really appreciate the input from the audience for this type of conversation. I appreciate the balance or imbalance between Brian and the mayor. So I do vote yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Travis?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
Yes.
And Ms. Shimoni?
Sure. All right, moving on. Item D, appoint to boards, commissions, and committees. All right, first, I would like to state that the Tree Commission, we're gonna table this one. We did have a couple of people pull back last night, and so we're gonna take that one and put it out again to see if we get any more bites, since we had a couple of people that dropped off that we thought we were gonna end up interviewing last night. So just so you guys know, unless anyone has any major objection, we're gonna take the Tree Commission and push it to try to see if Dana can round up some more peeps for that one. Otherwise, we've got a reminder, we've got one opening for Human Relations. We had Carl Kuffel and Michelle McPherson interview. We have 2 openings for the Library Board. We had Carl, Michelle, but also Genevieve Mack, Morgan Pater, and Jennifer Salvo. And we had the Zoning Hearing Board, 1 opening for an alternate, Sean Berry. Would anyone like to make a proposal or motion?
You want to do it, Mr. Travis?
Sure, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Michelle McPherson to Human Relations, Genevieve Mack to Library Board of Directors, as well as Jennifer Salvo to the Board of Directors, and Sean Berry to the Zoning Hearing Board.
I'll second that.
All right, Sean?
Mr. Stepaniak?
Yes.
Ms. Kearns?
Yes.
Mr. Marvin?
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mr. Travis?
Yes.
Mr. Flynn?
Yeah.
And Ms. Shimoni?
All right, now we have item E, special event applications. We did not have this one on last night's agenda. We apologize. We did talk about it in committee last week, so the committee did have a chance to talk about these special events applications. And I believe this is public safety. So Brian, I'm going to let you go through them.
I wasn't prepared to talk about these. But council approved these 3-0. Some of them are recurring events. And I think one of the big items here was removing the Halloween parade.
You want Keith to help you? He's back there.
Oh, yeah, Keith.
Hi, Keith Karowski, Director of the Parks and Rec Department. To speak on behalf of the events, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are all 5Ks. They all follow the standard Southwest Loop, which has been approved here in the borough. I believe 3 of the 5 are returning 5Ks that happened last year with no previous incidents. Numbers 6, 8, 9, and 10 are borough run events that have happened and have been happening for many years here in the borough. The difference with number 9 is that we are moving the parade back to a Wednesday night from the Sunday experiment last year. And number 7 is a new once in a lifetime event, America 250 celebration being organized by the Westchester Area Council of Governments. While we are still in the drawing up phase to a degree, you can expect that event to follow the same geographic pattern as the restaurant festival, which obviously we have plenty of experience closing down the town for that event.
Any questions? No? Any questions from anyone in attendance? All right, does anyone want to make a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sean?
Mr. Stepaniak,
Approve.
Ms. Kearns,
Yes.
Mr. Marvin,
Yes.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yeah.
Mr. Travis.
Yes.
Mr. Flynn.
Yes.
Ms. Shimoni.
All right, people. We are here, newbies, the consent agenda. All right.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Second.
All right, Sean.
Comment?
Great. Darn it, I was so excited. Any comment from anyone here? Okay, all right, now we can go.
Stepaniak,
Approve.
Ms. Kearns,
Approve.
Mr. Marvin,
I do approve.
Mr. McGinnis.
Yeah.
Mr. Travis, Mr. Flynn,
Yes.
and Ms. Shimoni.
Yes. Okay, and other business? Any other business? Seeing none, we are adjourned at 7:37 PM.